99,999,999,999 gives us 100 billion possible distortion combinations. And did you know, until 1977, the USA's top secret nuclear launch code for Minuteman missiles was just 8 zeros? So this has got 1,000 times more possible combinations than the code that could initiate nuclear Armageddon. This is the Fuzzbillion from Teaching Machines, and it's a really interesting take on a distortion pedal. We've got a huge range of circuits in here with different combinations of various silicon diodes, germanium diodes, LEDs, op-amps, transformers, with bias and tone controls, giving us so much to play with in a single box. This is the original prototype, quite a funky looking thing, and inside you can see how much circuitry we've got packed inside this. I first came across it in Machine and Bristronica and was so intrigued I asked them to send me this one to have a play with. So, how does it work? We've got 11 wheels and each of these does different things. Each of these has got 10 discrete settings. The signal flows from left to right through each of the different circuits, and if that's not enough, we've got a final transformer on the output, adding yet more distortion. We've also got balanced line in and guitar level input and output on the side here. We switch them in and out. And each of these wheels isn't simply a level setting, like, you know, gain, for example, 0 to 9. In a lot of cases, the setting is changing the circuitry. And it's probably easiest to explain what's going on using this from the manual. I won't read through all of them here, but each wheel has different circuits in it for clipping, fuzz, bias, tone and drive, things like that, but they all do different things. Wheels 2, 5, 6, 7 and 11, those ones that had the little diamonds in them, are effectively like level controls, but the others bring in discrete circuitry depending on the setting. For example, these are the components on wheel 10 using LEDs, silicon diodes, germanium diodes, different capacitors and resistors, all changing the pedal's response. Each setting on the wheel is different, not just more of the same. So with 100 billion combinations, I'm not going to try them all, 10 seconds on each setting would take 1 trillion seconds, which is over 30,000 years to demo. And luckily I don't have to do that because it's not quite as random as it first appears. I'm going to try and go through each of the wheels without being too forensic here. So I've got this playing quite clean. The transformer is not doing that much there. Wheel 5's on 9 because that's the bypass for that tone. So the rest are set to 0 and we'll start off with wheel 1. Now this is the gain boost and this has got 2 types of circuits in it. It's got an op-amp boost and it's got a single transistor boost. It's off at the minute, then that's reduced the level using an op-amp. 1 to 4. The op-amps. And then from 5 upwards, 5 to 8, this is the single transistor boost. And then setting 9 adds a second transistor. So you've got 3 types of circuit in that. And then off. Over to wheels 2, 3 and 4 then, and these work together, and these are clipping amplifiers. Wheel 2 increases the gain. This is like a level control. And then wheel 3 clips the top of the waveform and wheel 4 clips the bottom of the waveform, and they both do this in different ways. I'll just throw this up here to save me trying to describe it. But you can see we've got germanium diodes, different types of silicon diodes, LED diodes, adding a capacitor into the loop. In setting 5, the clipping comes just from an op-amp, and 6 to 9 add an extra resistor to give less clipping and more gain. It's the same for both of them, as I say, but I'll just have a little play to give you a flavour. So 4 really drops to the high end. 6, 7 and 8 are really bright, aren't they? And 9 sounds almost compressory as well. A lot of these sound a little bit like a compressor. You can hear that end of the waveform sort of giving a wah type effect. It doesn't exist. I really noticed it on wheel 1 here. Really squishing the signal in beautiful, lovely ways. So yeah, increase the gain into 3 and 4. So in this alone, you've got 999 settings. It's a really dirty sounding delay this, but I just wanted to show that you can get sort of almost like compressed effects from the Fuzzbillion. Okay, so that's wheels 2, 3 and 4. That brings us to wheel 5, and this is a tone control. 0 is the most bassy and 8 is the most treble. 9 removes it entirely, which is odd because all the other sort of bypasses are on 0, but that's why I've been setting this to 0, 0, 0 with that single 9 in there. Just trying to find something here that's quite bright, obnoxiously bright, then knock it down. That's got more bass. And then as we move up. It's almost like a tilted cue, isn't it? So even though it feels almost like a blunt instrument at times where you're going from just one setting to the next, there's loads of fine control you can get over this. It's completely different to... Let's knock all these back to 0 then and look at wheel 6. It's really confusing to me that up is the lower button and down is the top button. Yeah, so getting them back to 0. There we go. Let's put that one back to 9. So let's add 6. Now 6, I'll have to turn up 7 first. Whoops. Told you keep on getting them confused with up and down. Turn on 7 first because that's the mix of this, and 6 is the octave fuzz. So got the mix of the octave fuzz turned up full. So 6 is the amount of octave fuzz and 7 is the mix of it. So 6 and 7 work in conjunction with one another, as do 2, 3 and 4. And that brings us to 8, and 8's completely nuts. 8 is this phased lock loop, and that's essentially like an oscillator that tries to pitch itself to what you're playing. And I'll throw this up again, just makes it easier to show you what's happening. The different settings on this effectively change how fast it reacts, how fast the circuit reacts to the incoming signal. So yeah, it says slow portamento wobbly note. That's exactly what we're getting. Faster portamento wobbly note. Bit wobbly. Fuzzier. Faster and glitchy, that is glitchy. Try these on drums, they're just mental. Which is why I didn't use them on the drums on the intro track. It got very unmusical very quickly. That's the cronky setting. Cronkier. So all sorts of madness you can get from that. So sometimes you have to wait, like you did there, for the circuits to sort of come in and do their thing. Sounds like ring mod paneling, it says in the manual, but you get the idea of that. It's doing something crazy, isn't it? 9 is the same as 8, but with faster tracking. Don't know what that sounds like on a guitar, but I'm doing it with these synths, because that's what I do. In the manual, it says try this setting. It does says it sound like a theremin, and I no way did I think it was going to. And it does, that's brilliant. That is crackers. And I should say the manual does have this quick start guide that gives you lots of different examples, how to get different styles of tones from it. So each of the wheels, it gives examples on how it could work and what it can do. But this is for a guitar, basically. That's why I thought I'd play it with something different. Here's examples for bass through a DI, and here's examples for guitar with an amp. If you play guitar, to go through all them might be quite good fun. But as I say, I'm not going to do that here. Then in the back of the manual, you can write your favourite patches down. Wheel 9 is the bias offset, so that moves the waveform up and down, then clips either the top or the bottom of it. (1 to 5) makes it more negative, so more of an effect from 1 to 5, so less of an effect on 1, more on 5. And we move up to 6. Easiest again to show this with the manual. You've got the most bias offset at the center and less to the edges. So it's slightly confusing way of doing it, but this is the most positive. This is the most negative. Least positive, least negative. Actually, at least negative is that. I should really have this on a 9 actually for bypass. That brings us to wheel 10 then, and this is really interesting. We've got basically 10 different circuits in here. That's the one I showed earlier. And again, here's what the components of this are. I'm going to play this one through a delay because as things get clipped, you get a sort of compression effect. Well, it is a compression effect. You might recognize this little sequence. So we're going from gentle clipping to starts getting harsher. Much harsher there. And the more clipping you get, the quieter it sounds, but the more distortion you're getting. And the germanium one is nuts. Stop that if I play this. Take that out. So listen to that delay there. That's great, isn't it? So that's just a single circuit out of all of these. And that was going a bit harsh there. Let's try another one. So the final circuit we've got here is the output tone. And this is a gentle one-pole filter, low-pass filter. So we go to 9. We've cut as much as the height as we can. So this, in conjunction with this, these two circular ones, give you your sort of tone control. Is it 5 or 6? That was really harsh on this, or bright, I should say. Take that down. A little too mental, perhaps. So yeah, I'm just trying to give an overall flavour here of what it can do. And I did ask the manufacturers, is there some way of demonstrating this acting like another pedal? So for example, the clon is a germanium pedal. We've got germanium stuff in here. Can it do the clon type thing? And I picked that because it's a fairly straightforward circuit. So this should be a little bit like the clon, because we've got the input gain here. And on 3 and 4, we've got nothing in the circuit. All the clipping comes from the op amp. The EQ is off, the octave fuzz is off, the PLL is off, and the bias is off. And we're going through the germanium diode for the output. Let's turn it on. So although you're not really replicating any circuit in particular, there are little tricks you can do with it if you understand how it all works. Another way they said you might get closer in terms of the clean stroke dirty mix in the clon, but technically a different approach, is to use the LEDs in the op amp, loop, and remove this final clipping stage or make it something slightly different. So that looks something like this, where this is the input gain and these two are using LED diodes. and then just taking off some of the top end because it does go a bit screechy. Try and get it so you can hear it. So yeah, you do have to try and level match stuff to do anything like this. But yeah, as nothing in here is designed from existing pedals, it's not a great way of demonstrating what it does. But what I wanted to show is that it's flexible in that you can look, if you know how other things work, you can look at how they work and then you can do similar things on this. So yeah, that's the Fuzzbillion from Teaching Machines. And I have to say, when I first got my hands on it, I was a bit like, it felt like a bit of a blunt instrument in a way, in that, you know, you've only got 10 input settings or 10 input gain settings. But once you start using it, you realize that those settings combined with the other things in it make it super flexible, and you really can hone in those tones. Obviously, if there's a particular tone you want and you like dialing that tone in and then tweaking that to the nth degree, a specific tone, then this probably isn't the thing for you. But if you want to experiment, have access to lots of different tones, and you know, lots of inspirational things in there, I think shown with the drum loops in there, those sort of acid tones, the synth tones and the like, it brings out all sorts of different things. In those drum loops, for example, it was bringing out lots of nice sort of metallic tones and stuff like that, wasn't it? So, so yeah, and the more I play with it, the more I like it. As I say, when I first got it, I was like, oh, this is a bit, you know, here's a sound, here's another sound, here's another sound. But once you start using it, you can actually understand where it's going, how to use it, and you can plan what you're going to do with it, which I think is quite important as well as just hitting some numbers and seeing what happens. Let's hit some now, shall we, and just see where we get to. Something completely random, I don't know. Let's turn it on maybe. Oh yeah, be careful with this bad boy here. Take that one out. Amazing the difference in tones you can get, and that's because I've dropped the input gain. The compression effect on that was great, wasn't it? So you can see, as you start to use it, you can understand where you're going. And yeah, it's a great little tool. Fuzzbillion from Teaching Machines. I hope that was of some use to somebody somewhere. If it was, please do subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things. But most of all, thanks for staying to the very end, and I will see you next time.